Hello, and welcome to this 50th episode in my series titled Questioning Woke Psychotherapy. My name is Michael Dwan Herrick, and I'm a psychotherapist in private practice in London. In this video, I want to talk about the problems that arise from what we call ideological tribalism. I'll also make some suggestions for how we can overcome these problems. To varying degrees, critical social justice ideology has captured training programs and institutions within the field of psychotherapy, and I believe it's also increasingly impacted clinical practice in harmful ways. To address this, I think we need to understand what ideologies are, what's problematic about them, and why they can be so attractive to so many of us. Sometimes we use words without reflecting on their full meaning. I know I do. I've often used the word ideology when referring to critical social justice, and admittedly, I've intended a critical connotation. But let's take a bit deeper look into this and steelman ideology before launching a critique. An ideology is a system of beliefs, values, and ideas that shapes the way individuals and groups perceive and interpret the world, guiding our political, economic, social, or cultural practices and decisions. Four core elements of an ideology include: 1, ideas and values. Ideologies are built on core ideas about human nature, society, justice, and the ideal state of affairs. These ideas form the foundation of an ideology. Values are the principles or standards that an ideology upholds, such as freedom, equality, justice, and order. Number 2, worldview. Ideologies offer a particular way of interpreting and understanding the world. This includes explanations for social, political, and economic conditions. It also includes historical perspectives and a narrative about history. It explains how current conditions have come to be and suggests a trajectory for the future. Number 3, prescriptions for action. Ideologies outline specific goals or objectives that should be pursued to achieve the desired state of society. They also provide strategies and tactics for achieving these goals, including policies, laws, and forms of governance. 4, identity and solidarity. Ideologies often create a sense of identity and solidarity among their adherents, fostering a sense of belonging and common purpose. They typically take an us versus them approach, defining themselves in opposition to other ideologies or groups, creating a dichotomy between supporters and opponents. There are different types of ideologies, such as political, economic, social, and religious. I'll name just a few from each category. Politically, ideologies can include liberalism, conservatism, socialism, communism, and fascism. Economic ideologies include capitalism, Marxism, democratic socialism, neoliberalism, for instance. Religious ideologies include Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism. And social ideologies include feminism, environmentalism, multiculturalism, anarchism, humanism, and last but not least, critical social justice. The point I want to make by naming these various ideologies is that we're constantly encountering them, whether in our personal lives, in the media, and in whatever information we consume online. They're everywhere. We're swimming in them. Critical social justice is just one example. While these ideologies are all different, each one provides value by serving the following 4 basic functions. First, they serve a cognitive function by helping us to make sense of complex social and political realities and provide a coherent framework for interpreting events and conditions. 2, they serve a moral function by offering standards for judging right and wrong, shaping moral decisions and ethical behavior. 3, ideologies serve a practical function by providing a roadmap for political action, policy making, and social change, guiding the behavior of individuals and groups. And number 4, they serve a social function by fostering a shared set of beliefs and values that help to create social cohesion and a sense of belonging among their adherents. I'd like you to take a moment to reflect on and appreciate these values provided by any ideology. You may be opposed to or in favor of many of the ideologies mentioned earlier, but if you consider these functions, it's hard to argue that ideologies are ever all bad. They give us a system of thought for understanding the human world. They articulate moral principles that inspire an emotional response. They offer a plan for how to make the world a better place, and they give us a sense of belonging with others who hold the same beliefs. Additionally, they locate blame for the cause of suffering and identify an enemy that can be fought. In some ways, don't we all want these things, or at least most of these things, albeit for different reasons? When we criticize ideologies, are we sure that we don't perhaps unwittingly subscribe to our own? Are we truly critical of ideology itself, or just some ideologies? Have we not joined our own ideological tribes? If you're liking this video so far, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel, click the bell for notifications, leave me a comment, and share it with a friend. Your support will help my channel grow and be greatly appreciated. Thanks. Now back to the topic. So, having steel-manned ideologies, let's now consider what's problematic about them. Regardless of what the ideology is or what it has to offer, it will tend to have inherent problems. While offering frameworks for understanding and addressing social, political, and economic issues and satisfying several personal needs as suggested, ideologies can be problematic in several ways. I'll name 8 of these ways. 1. They are typically rigid and dogmatic. Adherents may become inflexible and resistant to new information or alternative viewpoints, which can stifle critical thinking and innovation. 2. Polarization. Ideologies can create deep divisions within societies. By promoting an us versus them mentality, they can exacerbate conflicts and make it difficult to find common ground or compromise on important issues. Number 3, reductionism. Ideologies often simplify complex realities into binary oppositions or overly simplistic narratives. This reductionistic approach can overlook the nuances and complexities of real-world situations, leading to misguided policies and actions. Number 4, manipulation and propaganda. Those in power can use ideologies to justify their actions and maintain control. Propaganda and misinformation can be used to rally support, suppress dissent, and manipulate public opinion. 5. Exclusion and intolerance. Ideologies can promote exclusion and intolerance toward those who do not conform to their beliefs. This can lead to discrimination, persecution, and marginalization of those who think differently. Number 6. Violence and conflict. When ideologies become extreme, they can be used to incite violence. History provides many examples of wars, revolutions, and acts of terrorism driven by ideological zeal. Number 7, stagnation. A strong adherence to a single ideology can lead to stagnation, as it discourages questioning and adaptation. Societies or groups that are ideologically rigid may struggle to evolve and address new challenges effectively. Number 8. Last one, echo chambers. Ideologies can create echo chambers where individuals only engage with information and perspectives that reinforce their pre-existing beliefs. This can deepen ignorance and entrench misunderstandings about opposing views. While ideologies can provide valuable lenses for interpreting the world, their limitations and potential for harm highlight the need for critical thinking, openness to diverse perspectives, and a willingness to adapt in the face of new evidence and changing circumstances. What can be done about this? How can the value of ideologies be recognized and preserved while their downsides overcome? I propose that this requires individual and collective effort. It entails development in 4 primary areas: cognitive, emotional, social, and practical. We'll need to work on ourselves, as well as promote collective change, for instance, through education and facilitated civil discourse. So here's what I think we need to do. Cognitively, we need to cultivate open-mindedness, critical thinking, and the ability to take multiple perspectives. This means not settling for simplistic and reductive explanations for complex social phenomena. It means not fixating on a single variable that we happen to know about and care about. It means realizing that all observable things are the product of multiple interacting causes. Cognitively, this requires a tolerance for uncertainty, which alone is a supreme challenge for many of us. In the realm of moral principles, it entails a recognition of multiple valid moral principles that often appear to be antagonistic to each other, like freedom and responsibility. This then requires the ability to think dialectically and formulate a vision and action plan that accounts for multiple causal factors and multiple principles. Emotionally, we need to not be held captive and driven by our emotions. Moral principles are not just abstract ideas, they're deeply held convictions that evoke powerful feelings. When our own moral convictions are seen as absolute and we encounter different moral convictions that are held by others, we can feel righteous wrath and a powerful impulse to harness this for an attack. I'm not suggesting that we somehow not experience powerful feelings or that we not act on behalf of what we hold to be an important moral principle. What I am suggesting is that we recognize that our zeal may be based on an incomplete understanding of reality. We could contain our emotions enough to consider what else may be morally at stake beyond our chosen principle. Also, our emotional attachment to our tribe is a powerful magnet that can pull us away from any form of disagreement with our group. It can push us into groupthink. Overcoming the problems of ideology doesn't mean not having emotions or feeling a bond with a particular group. It means having emotions, but not being had by them. Socially and interpersonally, to avoid being captured by an ideology, we need to listen to those who disagree with us and cultivate empathy for their position and experience. We need to be open to the possibility that they might know something that we don't. They might see something that we don't. This can be extremely difficult when emotions are evoked by the clash of ideas. We also need to not be driven by our need to belong to an ideological tribe. We need to tolerate feeling alone sometimes. We also need to be honest and transparent with those we disagree with and not hide or manipulate facts to bolster our arguments. We need to not see our ideological disagreements with others as zero-sum contests, like sporting events with winners and losers. It should be seen more like struggles within Team Human, maybe more like hacky sack than football. This doesn't mean we don't call out bullshit or try to make a better argument, but this is not for the purpose of destroying anyone. Perhaps you've seen online headlines such as, Jordan Peterson destroys such and such person. We might destroy a bad argument, but not the person making it. Our intention could be to persuade and not to destroy. And this could be joined with a felt recognition of and commitment to our shared humanity. Practically speaking, ideologies promote prescriptions, policies, and actions which are based on simplified and totalizing conceptions of what is wrong and how to make it right. To address and overcome the problems of ideologies, we may need to start with a critique of their proposals in terms of a cost-benefit analysis. What benefits are realistic to expect, and what are the hidden or even obvious costs? But we also need to generate and offer alternative and better proposals. Whatever these may be, they should recognize that all policies and actions aimed at positive social change will come with trade-offs. There is no perfect ideal solution that will fix everything for all time. There's only a balancing of different priorities in an ever-changing world. A pragmatic approach alone has been rightfully criticized for sometimes being short-sighted and neglectful of moral principles. I suggest a principled pragmatism that takes account of multiple moral principles while aiming for long-term solutions that account for reality and human nature. Such proposals and their results ought to then be subject to continuous evaluation. There should be flexibility for modification or even termination, depending on the evidence for the effectiveness of actions and their potential unintended negative consequences. I don't believe that ideologies are going away anytime soon, if ever. They provide too much value to simply be tossed out. I also don't believe that the problems of ideologies are going to be overcome by attacking them from another ideological position that itself has all the same inherent problems. I do believe, however, that ideological movements can be mediated in the ways that I've proposed. They can, hypothetically at least, be contained. With that said, I could conclude everything I have to say. There's something that I feel I need to acknowledge. In addition to ideological tribalism, I've observed that there is also ideological possession. This occurs when an ideology has been swallowed hook, line, and sinker as a complete explanation for the world's troubles, when the moral principles it espouses inflame powerful emotions, and when membership in its tribe satisfies a deep yearning to belong. When this happens, some people appear unreachable. Their arguments are impenetrable, and good faith dialogue is not possible. You could follow my suggestions made earlier, but nothing much will come of it. Too many people, it seems to me, just aren't ready to play on Team Human. I'm not by nature cynical, and I very much would like to hold out hope for such situations, but I don't have any answers for how such hope can be realized in these cases. If you have any ideas about this, please leave a comment. But please, no rose-colored glasses. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other, and beware of ideological tribalism wherever you may find it. Bye for now.